Do you want a game that's got a really unique mechanic to it and shows you just how bad at recognizing patterns you really are? Well, if that's the case, I have the perfect game for you, because today we're going to be reviewing Illusion. Illusion is an extremely simple game with interesting mechanics, so let's talk about them. Illusion has a bunch of these color cards here that all have different percentages of different colors on here. The colors are red, green, blue, and yellow. And on the back, there is a list of the percentages of each color. Your goal when you remove a card from the stack is to place it in the order that you believe the color appears in on the card. So let's say green. Green is the one that comes out there. Do you think this one has more or less green? I'm going to say it has more green. Then you look at this one. Does this have more or less green? I think it has more than this one, but less than this one. And as you play out the cards, one at a time, you can see the pattern gets a little bit harder to determine, and the order is a little bit harder to keep straight. The green has to be going in the direction of the arrow, so it has to be least, then next higher, then highest. At any point, if any of the players feel that the order is out of sync and it's incorrect in any way, they can claim that the order is wrong and dispute it. Then you check to see if the order is correct. So in this case, the order is wrong. This one actually had more green than this one, so it's in the wrong order. It should be 6, 11, 30, 40. So that person, if they claimed that they thought it was wrong, they get the arrow. That counts as their points. These cards are discarded, and a new arrow is pulled out. In the case of something like, let's do this in the correct order here. So if it's a situation like this, where somebody called it out and it's in the correct order, then the last person who played a card in this row, regardless of where they put it, they get to get the arrow. So there's a little bit of risk if you're going to call out the order. The game is just that simple. You play until one player has 3 arrows, and that's it. Now that you know how to play the game, I'll meet you back up top, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Illusion is a super fun, super quick, super simple game. All of that is the perfect descriptor for it, because it is probably the easiest game I've ever saw to understand. It 30 seconds and of half paying attention and you know how to play this game. It's super easy. There's basically 2 rules to it, and it can be fun. It can also really teach you how little ability you have to recognize patterns, because I think that I have these patterns down pat. I know exactly the order they're supposed to go in, and then I flip over and look at the percentages and I'm way off and I don't understand it. It's definitely something that you kind of have to get used to. There's a lot of cards, but you can eventually, if you play enough with enough people, because you're playing with like 2 to 5 people, you go through the cards pretty quickly and you start to remember how much was in each one. But there's enough cards that it takes you a really long time to get through enough where you start remembering them. So I haven't really run into that problem yet. And it's also trying to keep all those percentages straight. It's nearly impossible, because some of them are like 11% and one of them's 12% and one of them's 10%. So it's really close, and remembering those that's a difficult task. It's fun. It's got a unique mechanic. Pandasaurus has some great games that are really simple and really easy to understand and play and teach other people. They're those kind of games that when you don't want to bust out something that's complicated, when you don't want to spend a half hour to 45 minutes playing a game, you can bust out some Pandasaurus games, and in that same amount of time that you would have spent on a little bit more of a complicated game, you can play 5 Pandasaurus games and get a lot of fun out of it, because they're super quick, super easy. The rule book is literally this. It opens up, and this is your rule book. So it just shows you there's actually more writing on this rulebook than I would expect, considering how easy this game is to understand. But I always recommend Pandasaurus games. And the art is nice, the patterns are nice, the cards are nice quality, and I always appreciate that. So if you like what you saw here on the channel today, please hit that like button. Let us know that you like it. Make sure that it's blue. Leave a comment down below. Do you have any Pandasaurus games? If so, I'd love to know which one's your favorite. Subscribe to the channel so you catch all of our game reviews going forward, and hit that notification bell so you know what's up. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys.